Welcome to Zen Time Sleep Stories. Let your mind unwind as we explore and learn about orchids. Orchids are a remarkable plant family, with over 25,000 species, making them one of the largest families of flowering plants. They can be found all over the world, from the Arctic Circle to the jungles of South America. Despite their vast numbers, every orchid species is unique, displaying a stunning array of colors, shapes, and sizes. From the tiniest orchids, with flowers less than 1 millimeter across, to the largest species, with flowers over 30 centimeters in diameter, the orchid family includes both the smallest and largest flowers in the world. Their beauty and diversity have captivated humans for thousands of years, and they continue to inspire awe and wonder today. The orchid family is a diverse and fascinating group of flowering plants. Did you know that it includes both the smallest and largest flowers in the world? That's right. Some orchid species produce tiny flowers that are less than 1 millimeter across, while others have flowers that can be over 30 centimeters across. Despite their size differences, all orchid flowers are intricately designed, with unique shapes, colors, and patterns that help them attract pollinators. The diversity of the orchid family is truly remarkable, and their beauty is sure to inspire awe and wonder in anyone who takes the time to appreciate them. The vanilla bean is a precious ingredient used in many desserts, and it comes from an orchid species called Vanilla planifolia. This orchid is native to Mexico and Central America and is now cultivated in many tropical regions around the world. The vanilla orchid produces long, green pods that contain tiny black seeds. The pods must be hand-pollinated and carefully harvested when ripe. Once harvested, the pods are dried and cured to develop their characteristic vanilla flavor and aroma. Vanilla is one of the most popular flavors in the world, and the orchid that produces it remains one of the most valuable members of the orchid family. Orchids are a fascinating plant species that can be found all over the world, from the chilly Arctic Circle to the lush rainforests of South America. They are incredibly diverse, with over 25,000 species, making them one of the largest families of flowering plants. Despite their diverse range of habitats, orchids have adapted to their surroundings in unique ways, making them some of the most interesting plants to observe. Orchids can be found growing on trees, rocks, and even other plants, but what's most interesting is that they can thrive without any soil at all. Many orchids are epiphytes, meaning they grow on other plants rather than in soil. This unique adaptation allows them to be more resilient to changes in their environment, as well as being able to take advantage of the nutrients and support provided by their host plants. Orchids have a long and fascinating history, with their use dating back to ancient times. The ancient Greeks believed that orchids had healing properties and used them in medicinal preparations. They also believed that orchids could promote virility and used them as an aphrodisiac. Orchids were highly valued by the Greeks and were often given as gifts to royalty and other important figures. Today, orchids are still highly valued for their beauty and unique characteristics. They are found all over the world, from the Arctic Circle to the jungles of South America. Orchids come in a wide range of sizes and colors, and their flowers can last for several weeks or even months. Some orchids have evolved to mimic the appearance and scent of insects, while others only release their scent at night to attract nocturnal pollinators. Despite their beauty, many species of orchids are endangered due to habitat destruction and overcollection. Orchids have been used in traditional medicine for centuries, with some species known for their healing properties. They have also been used in perfumes and other fragrances due to their unique scent. Overall, orchids are a fascinating and complex family of plants that have captured the imagination of people for centuries. From their ancient use in Greek medicine to their modern applications in perfumery and horticulture, orchids continue to inspire and captivate people around the world. In the vast and diverse family of orchids, there are some who survive in a unique way. These orchids are known as parasitic, and they obtain their nutrients from other plants. Instead of photosynthesizing, they have evolved to tap into the root systems of nearby plants, siphoning off the nutrients they need to thrive. This may seem like an unfair advantage, but in nature, all living things must find a way to survive. These orchids serve an important role in the ecosystem by helping to regulate plant populations, and they are a fascinating example of the adaptability of nature. Though they may not be as showy or popular as their photosynthesizing counterparts, these orchids are a marvel of evolution, perfectly suited to their unique niche in the world. As we observe these delicate and intricate plants, we are reminded that every living thing has a purpose, and that even the most unexpected adaptations can be beautiful and awe-inspiring. As we explore the world of orchids, we cannot help but be captivated by their beauty and elegance. One unique characteristic of these stunning flowers is their incredible longevity. Unlike many other flowers which wither and fade within a few days, orchids can bloom for several weeks or even months. This remarkable trait makes them one of the longest-lasting types of flowers. Imagine walking through a serene orchid garden, surrounded by the soft fragrance of these delicate blossoms. The gentle rustling of leaves in the breeze brings a sense of calm and tranquility as you admire the vibrant colors and intricate designs of each flower. And as you gaze upon these magnificent blooms, you can take comfort in the knowledge that their beauty will grace the world for many weeks to come. Indeed, orchids are a true testament to the wonders of nature, a reminder that even in our chaotic and ever-changing world, there is still beauty and grace to be found. So take a deep breath, relax, and let the splendor of the orchid fill your heart with peace and serenity. As we delve deeper into the world of orchids, we come across some truly remarkable species. In fact, some orchids have evolved to such an extent that they can mimic the appearance and smell of female insects, specifically to attract males for pollination. These fascinating orchids use their petals and colors to deceive unsuspecting male insects into thinking that they have found a mate. Some even produce pheromones that mimic those of female insects, further enhancing their deception. This remarkable adaptation allows these orchids to ensure the continuation of their species, but it also highlights the complexity and ingenuity of nature. As we watch these orchids in action, we can't help but feel a sense of peace and tranquility. The natural world is full of wonders, and these orchids are just one small part of the intricate web of life that surrounds us. Orchids are fascinating plants with some remarkable features. For instance, did you know that the seeds of some orchid species are incredibly small? In fact, they are so tiny that they can only be seen under a microscope. These small seeds pose unique challenges for orchid reproduction. Instead of relying on the energy stored in the endosperm, a nutrient-rich tissue found in most other plant seeds, orchids rely on fungi for germination. The orchid seed has no food reserves and must rely entirely on its fungal partner for nutrients. This mutualistic relationship between the orchid and fungi is essential for the survival of many orchid species. It is remarkable to think that such tiny seeds can give rise to such beautiful and complex plants. Orchids are a beautiful and diverse family of plants, with over 25,000 species found all over the world. Unfortunately, many of these species are endangered due to habitat destruction and overcollection. In fact, The orchid family includes many species that are on the brink of extinction. It is important to protect these delicate plants and their habitats to ensure their survival for future generations. While orchids have been highly valued for their beauty and medicinal properties for thousands of years, their future is uncertain. It is up to us to protect these fragile plants and ensure that they continue to thrive in our world. Orchids have been used in traditional medicine for centuries, with many ancient cultures valuing their therapeutic properties. The Greeks, for instance, believed that orchids could heal illnesses and increase virility. In traditional Chinese medicine, orchids have been used to treat a range of ailments, including coughs, fevers, and digestive problems. Some studies have even shown that certain compounds found in orchids may have anti-cancer properties. While the efficacy of orchid-based remedies is still being studied, there is no doubt that these beautiful plants have had a profound impact on human health and well-being throughout history. Part number 12. Many orchid species are epiphytes, meaning they grow on other plants rather than in soil. The orchid family includes many unique species that have adapted to a variety of environments. One of their most fascinating adaptations is their ability to grow as epiphytes. Instead of rooting in soil like most plants, these orchids grow on other plants, such as trees, using their roots to cling onto bark or crevices. This allows them to take advantage of the moisture and nutrients found on the surface of these host plants. As epiphytes, orchids can be found in a variety of habitats around the world, from tropical rainforests to high-altitude cloud forests. Their ability to grow in such diverse environments has made them an important part of many ecosystems, providing habitat and food for a wide variety of animals. Despite their unique method of growth, epiphytic orchids are not parasitic and do not harm their host plants. Instead, they simply use them as a platform for growth, relying on their own photosynthesis to produce energy. This unique adaptation has allowed orchids to thrive in environments where other plants cannot, making them an integral part of the natural world. In the vast and diverse world of plant life, the orchid family stands out with their unique traits. One of the most fascinating characteristics is that the orchid family includes the only known example of a plant that produces both nectar and oil as a reward for pollinators. This particular type of orchid species is found in the tropical regions of the world, where it relies on a specific species of bee for pollination. The flowers of this orchid species produce a complex blend of oils that mimic the scent of the female bee, attracting the male bee for pollination. As the male bee lands on the flower, it is rewarded not only with nectar but also with oil, which it collects as a pheromone to attract a mate. The oil produced by the orchid is crucial for the survival of the male bee, as it relies on it to attract a mate and continue the species. This unique feature of the orchid family highlights the intricacies of nature and the symbiotic relationships that exist within it. As we marvel at the beauty and complexity of the natural world, we can appreciate the role that each species plays in maintaining the delicate balance of our ecosystem. Orchids have been cultivated for thousands of years, with the first recorded instance of orchid cultivation dating back to ancient China. In fact, the Chinese were so enamored with these delicate beauties that they believed they possessed magical powers. It's no wonder orchids have remained popular to this day, with their stunning array of colors and unique shapes captivating people all over the world. Cultivating orchids can be a relaxing and rewarding hobby, allowing enthusiasts to create their very own miniature gardens of exotic plants. With so many species to choose from, the possibilities are endless. Whether grown in a greenhouse or displayed on a windowsill, these graceful flowers are sure to bring a sense of peace and serenity to any space. As the sun sets and darkness falls, a particular type of orchid springs to life. known as night-scented orchids. These species have evolved to release their fragrance only at night. The scent they emit is like a siren call to nocturnal pollinators such as moths, who are drawn to the alluring aroma. As they move from flower to flower, they play a vital role in the orchid's reproduction, pollinating as they go. The night-scented orchids are a testament to the incredible adaptability and diversity of the orchid family, a family that includes species that can be found in nearly every corner of the globe. From the smallest to the largest flowers, from the parasitic to the symbiotic, the orchid family is full of wonders to explore. So take a deep breath and let the tranquility of the orchids wash over you as we continue our journey through this magical and fascinating world. Orchids are a remarkable family of plants with a huge variety of shapes, sizes, and colors. One of the most famous orchids is the vanilla orchid, which is the only orchid species that is widely cultivated for a non-floral product. The vanilla bean comes from an orchid species called Vanilla planifolia, which is native to Mexico. The process of producing vanilla beans is complex and involves hand pollination of the flowers, which only open for a few hours each day. Once the beans have been harvested, they are dried and cured to develop their distinctive flavor. The use of vanilla in cooking dates back to the ancient Aztecs, who used it to flavor chocolate drinks. Today, vanilla is one of the most widely used flavorings in the world and is found in everything from ice cream to perfume. Despite its popularity, vanilla production is threatened by climate change and habitat loss, making it more important than ever to protect the orchids that produce this valuable crop. Orchids have a unique relationship with fungi that sets them apart from other plants. Some orchid species form a symbiotic relationship with fungi, where the fungus provides nutrients to the orchid in exchange for carbon compounds. This mutually beneficial relationship allows some orchids to grow in nutrient-poor soil, as they can rely on the fungi for their essential nutrients. The orchid seeds lack endosperm, a nutrient-rich tissue found in most other plant seeds, making them dependent on fungi for germination. This means that the orchid must rely on the fungi to not only provide nutrients for the adult plant, but also to help the seed grow into a mature plant. This unique relationship between orchids and fungi is just one of the many fascinating aspects of the orchid family. It is a testament to the incredible diversity and adaptability of these remarkable plants. So next time you see an orchid, take a moment to appreciate the complex web of relationships that allow it to thrive in the world around us. Orchid seeds are unlike most other plant seeds in that they lack endosperm, a nutrient-rich tissue. Instead, they rely on fungi for germination. This means that orchids have a unique relationship with the fungi in their environment. The fungi provide the nutrients needed for the seed to germinate, while the orchid supplies the carbon compounds that the fungi need. This symbiotic relationship is essential for the survival of many orchid species. It allows them to grow in nutrient-poor soils and compete with other plants. Without this partnership, orchids would struggle to survive and reproduce. It is amazing to think that something as small as a seed can rely on another organism for its survival. This unique characteristic of orchids highlights their adaptability and resilience in the natural world. As we delve deeper into the world of orchids, we discover some truly fascinating facts about these beautiful plants. Did you know that some orchid species have evolved to have flowers that resemble female wasps to attract male wasps for pollination? It's true. These orchids have evolved to mimic the intricate shapes and colors of female wasps, which entice male wasps into landing on them and transferring pollen from one flower to another. This process, known as pseudocopulation, is a remarkable example of the lengths to which orchids will go to ensure their survival. The flowers of these orchids are incredibly detailed, with markings that mimic the shape and texture of the female wasp's body. They may even emit a pheromone that further convinces male wasps of their authenticity. This unique strategy has proven highly effective for certain orchid species, which have become dependent on a single species of wasp for their pollination. As such, any changes to the wasp's habitat or behavior could have disastrous consequences for these orchids, making their conservation all the more important. It's amazing to think that these delicate and intricate flowers have evolved to such a degree that they can mimic the appearance and scent of other species. And yet, this is just one of the many wonders of the orchid family. From their varied colors and shapes to their fascinating relationships with other organisms, orchids are truly a marvel of the natural world. Orchids are an incredibly diverse family of flowering plants, with over 25,000 species. They come in all shapes and sizes. One of the most striking things about orchids is the variation in flower size. Some orchid flowers are so small that you can barely see them, while others are so large that they can be over 30 centimeters across. Regardless of their size, orchid flowers are always beautiful and intricate, with unique patterns and colors that make them stand out from other flowers. Whether you're admiring a tiny orchid flower up close or marveling at a giant orchid blossom from afar, these plants are sure to captivate your attention and inspire a sense of wonder and tranquility. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, a delicate fragrance begins to waft through the air. It is the scent of a flower, but not just any flower. This is the scent of a certain type of orchid, one that has evolved to only release its aroma at night. This is a clever strategy to attract pollinators that are active during the darker hours, such as moths. The flower itself is small, with petals that are a light shade of pink, but its fragrance is powerful, a pungent aroma that mimics the smell of rotting meat. This may not sound appealing to us, but to carrion flies, it is irresistible. As the night wears on, the orchid waits patiently for its pollinator to arrive. Finally, a small fly alights on the flower, lured in by the scent. It begins to explore the flower, looking for a meal. As it moves around, it brushes against the orchid's reproductive structures, unwittingly pollinating the flower. This strategy of producing a foul scent to attract pollinators is not unique to this orchid species. In fact, it is a well-known tactic used by many plants, including some other members of the orchid family. But it is a reminder of the incredible diversity and ingenuity of the natural world, and the many ways in which plants have evolved to survive and thrive. Orchids have been known to hybridize with other species, resulting in new orchid hybrids with unique characteristics. This process occurs when two different orchid species mate and produce an offspring with a combination of their traits. In nature, this can happen through cross-pollination by insects or other pollinators. However, it is also a common practice among orchid enthusiasts to intentionally crossbreed different species to create new and exotic orchids. This has led to the development of thousands of orchid hybrids worldwide, each with its own unique color, shape, and fragrance. These hybrids are highly prized for their beauty and often command high prices at orchid auctions and shows. Through hybridization, orchids have become one of the most diverse and visually stunning plant species on the planet. In the vast orchid family, there are some species that have a rather unique characteristic. They are carnivorous. These orchids trap small insects in their leaves and then digest them. This may seem unusual, but it is an effective way for the orchids to obtain the nutrients they need to survive. The insects that are caught provide the orchids with nitrogen and other vital nutrients that are not readily available in the soil. This adaptation is particularly useful for orchids that grow in nutrient-poor environments, such as bogs or rainforests. While not all orchids are carnivorous, this fascinating feature is just one of the many adaptations that have allowed them to thrive in a wide range of environments around the world. Orchids have been used in perfumes for centuries, with some species known for their particularly fragrant flowers. The delicate and alluring scent of orchids has been captured and refined by perfume makers for centuries. The beauty of orchid perfume is in its complexity, with a range of notes that can include floral, citrus, spicy, and woody scents. Orchid perfumes are often associated with luxury and sophistication, and they are a popular choice for special occasions. The scent of orchids can be both calming and invigorating, making it a perfect choice for those looking to create a sense of tranquility and relaxation. The fragrance of orchids is truly unique and unforgettable, capturing the essence of this remarkable plant family. Orchids have a rich and storied history that spans back over millions of years. Evidence of their existence can be found in amber dating back over 100 million years, providing a glimpse into their ancient evolution. These delicate and beautiful plants have survived the test of time, adapting to changes in their environment and developing unique characteristics that set them apart from other flowering plants. While they may have humble beginnings, the orchid family has become one of the most diverse and widespread groups of plants on the planet, with over 25,000 species found in every corner of the globe. The beauty and complexity of these plants is truly astounding, and their long history of survival and adaptation is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of life on Earth. As we continue to explore and learn more about these fascinating plants, we will undoubtedly uncover even more mysteries and wonders that have yet to be revealed. Orchids are fascinating plants that have evolved to develop complex and intricate relationships with their pollinators. In fact, some orchid species can only be pollinated by a single species of insect, making them highly dependent on that specific pollinator. This means that if the insect population declines or disappears, the orchid species may also face extinction. These orchids have evolved to produce flowers that not only look like the specific pollinator but also emit pheromones that mimic those of the insect, attracting the pollinator to the flower. The flower's shape and color are also adapted to facilitate the transfer of pollen from the insect to the stigma of the flower. This intricate relationship between orchids and their pollinators highlights the importance of preserving and protecting biodiversity. As we continue to encroach on natural habitats and disrupt the delicate balance of ecosystems, we risk losing some of these unique and important species, including these orchids with their highly specialized pollination requirements. In order to preserve these orchids and other highly specialized plant species, it is important to protect their habitats and work towards sustainable land use practices. By doing so, we can ensure that these fascinating plants continue to thrive and contribute to the beauty and diversity of our natural world. Orchids are a fascinating family of plants that have evolved to survive in a wide range of environments. Some orchid species have even evolved to obtain all of their nutrients from fungi, in a process known as mycoheterotrophy. These orchids lack the ability to photosynthesize, and instead rely entirely on the fungi for their survival. This unique relationship allows the orchid to thrive in environments where other plants cannot, such as in the dark understory of a forest. As the orchid obtains all of its nutrients from the fungi, it does not need to compete with other plants for resources, and can focus solely on producing its beautiful flowers. This symbiotic relationship between orchids and fungi is just one example of the incredible adaptations that have allowed the orchid family to thrive for millions of years. In the orchid family, some species have evolved to mimic the appearance of female bees to attract male bees for pollination. These orchids have developed intricate petals that resemble the female bee's body and even have markings that resemble eyes and antennae. As the male bee is drawn in by the orchid's resemblance to a potential mate, it inadvertently picks up pollen, which it unknowingly transfers to another orchid as it continues its search for a mate. This unique adaptation has allowed these orchids to thrive in environments where their particular pollinator is scarce. It is truly remarkable to see how nature has evolved such complex and fascinating relationships between plants and insects. Orchids are a wonder to behold due to their fascinating diversity in color, size, and shape. With over 25,000 species, it's no surprise that orchids come in a wide range of colors, from delicate pastels to vibrant hues. Some orchids bloom in a single color, while others feature intricate patterns and designs. White orchids are particularly striking, with their pure and pristine petals that radiate a sense of peace and serenity. Whether you prefer the softness of pink orchids or the boldness of yellow, there's an orchid for everyone. Regardless of the color, all orchids possess a certain grace and beauty that captures the heart and soothes the soul. Orchids have been used in traditional medicine for centuries, and many species continue to be studied today for their potential medicinal properties. Some orchids have been found to contain compounds that may have anti-cancer effects, while others have been used to treat malaria and tuberculosis. In traditional Chinese medicine, certain orchid species have been used to improve digestion and strengthen the immune system. Researchers continue to investigate the potential of these fascinating plants, looking for new ways to harness their healing properties. Despite the many uses of orchids in medicine, it is important to remember that many orchid species are endangered and should be protected to ensure their survival for future generations.